Welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, where we bring you conversations with the top business minds on Long Island and around the nation every week. Featuring expert consultants and small business owners who have found success but are also willing to share their top tips, failures, and give gritty, matter-of-fact advice based on their firsthand experience. Now, let's get down to business on Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Hello and welcome to Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation. My name is Ray Schwetz, AVP of Business Banking at Jovia Financial Credit Union. We're focused on being the premier resource for business and entrepreneurship. We bring you weekly business advice, tips, tools, and services that help you grow your business. Plus, we interview the top business leaders in the industry. Pretty excited today. Helping provide us with business empowerment as well as some fast-paced excitement is Brian Cohen. He's the founder of Strategies of Success, and Pete Scalzo of Racetrack, Not Street. Pete, Brian, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so let's start. We're first with Brian. Brian, tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I founded Strategies of Success a number of years ago, and the whole idea behind that was to help people move forward. I found that the confidence level needed to be there in order to do and accomplish anything. What fit into that 100% was communication skills. So that's really been the focus, and I've been helping people use their voice to build their brand and to build their business.
Sweet. Now, how did you meet Pete? Because you kind of seem like an odd couple to me.
Yeah, it was an interesting one. So I actually got involved with the drag racing a while ago. It was through one of the radio stations was doing a business networking event, and they approached me about doing a panel discussion on growth opportunities on the island. I was like, okay, what's your listenership area? It's always about the customer, right?
Yep.
What's your listenership area? And that was mostly Suffolk County here in New York. So I picked out three things. One of them was the airport, MacArthur Airport, the Ronkonkoma hub, and I had just found out through the Long Island Needs a Drag Strip folks about a study that was done about the possibility of a drag strip and what that would mean from an economic benefit. So I did. Stayed in touch. Next thing you know, here comes Pete. It's like, hey, we got this project going on. He was looking for a volunteer to speak on a microphone. I was like, okay, microphone speaking, count me in. I don't know what I'm doing. Pete, I thank you so much for that opportunity. But, I had the confidence of the microphone. I didn't know most of the language on the drag racing and the cars. That was a new language for me to learn. And Pete gave me the opportunity to do it. So that was how we met. He put a post up, said, looking for a volunteer. I raised my hand, said, yeah, count me in. And that was it.
And I imagine it's a bit more involved than what I see on like Fast and the Furious. It's nothing like that, I'm sure.
Oh, Pete could, it's totally different. And we'll let Pete explain exactly that.
Yeah. Now, Pete, tell us a little bit about Racetrack, Not Street.
Well, what I've been trying to do out here, I've been in the motorsports promotion business over 40 years, from all types of motorsports, racing motorcycles. Drag racing I just got into back in 2006, but all different things that I've done over the years, including Evel Knievel's last jump, which was down in Miami, Florida, back in the early 80s. So I've done it all, and I've always wanted to get into drag racing here on Long Island. There's a big history of racing on the island. 17, 18 years ago, the last drag strip shut down, which was West Hampton. But at one point, you had three drag strips going, National Speedway, Islip, and also West Hampton. Well, after West Hampton shut down, there was nothing going on the island for drag racing, and all the drag racing enthusiasts would have to travel to New Jersey, and you can imagine what the expense would be on the tolls and the wear and tear on the vehicle and the fuel, etc. So about 10 years ago, I started to try to get an okay to do drag racing out here. The EPCAL site, which is out here in Calverton, Riverhead area, former Grumman plant, is the most ideal site for a motorsports park anywhere in the nation. It is absolutely fantastic. You've got a 10,000-foot runway. You've got a 7,000-foot runway. And it's just sitting here doing nothing for all these years. The Navy gave it to the town years ago. No, it was after Grumman left. And nothing has been going on here. There's been different folks that came in. They wanted to do a ski mountain. They wanted to do all kinds of crazy things. Nothing ever came to fruition. So I, over and over and over, going back to when Sean Walter was the town supervisor, I kept saying, let's do a drag strip. Let's do even a temporary drag strip. Let me show you what drag racing is all about, what the economic impact will be, and even as important as the economic impact, how about the fact of the folks that are into motorsports, the kids, the mechanics, etc., that this is a place where the gearheads will be able to come out and participate. We are wholesome family entertainment, and as important as all of that, we are going to make the streets safer because we are going to, just like our name says, racetrack, not street. Take that illegal street racing off the streets and bring it to a place like what we have here to make it legal. Okay, so everything sounded good. It sounded good to the town supervisors. It sounded good to the town boards. But I always had the same answer. Well, Pete, it's a good idea, but we're worried about the noise. I said, well, rightfully so. You might be worried about the noise. Drag racing, open muffler cars, yes, they make a lot of noise. However, let's do a sound test. I don't think there's going to be a noise issue. I could be wrong. You could be right. Let's do a sound test. Well, believe it or not, all the years, every time I must have gone in front of town boards, going back to Sean Walter, who at one point said, boy, at least you did nothing else, Pete, you're persistent. Even to the former supervisor, Laura Jen Smith, same answer all the time. We're worried about the noise. My answer was, let's do a sound test at my expense. No, no, no. So as dopey as that sounds, that's the way it was. Until this new supervisor came in, and Yvette Aguilar. And she was nice enough to meet with me during the pandemic. She said, I'll give you 15 minutes. Let's see what you have. I hear all about this. I see the decals, Long Island needs a drag strip, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me what this is all about. What are you going to do? So I made my presentation, and lo and behold, she said, you know what? I think it's a good idea. Let's give it a try. And that's what we did last year. We had 6 events last year. Every event sold out. Tremendous success. And this is something that Long Island needed for years and years and years. And now we're in our second year, and it's, again, tremendously successful.
That is so cool. I mean, it sounds so exciting. Now, I imagine other than the sound, there's also probably some other misconceptions about racing. Honestly, I mean, me as a parent, I'm thinking, isn't that dangerous? But I'm sure there's a lot of misconceptions. Can you tell us about some of the other misconceptions out there?
Well, yeah, right. And, there is a number of naysayers, and I can't get mad at them because, again, noise. We beat the noise issue. One person at one point actually said at one of the meetings, well, we don't want those kind of people around here. What the hell are you talking about, these kind of people? These are hard-working people. These are the salt of the earth people. These are people that love their sport. I've always said over all the years, as far as municipalities, they do a wonderful job in providing venues for soccer, football, baseball, softball, the volleyball, etc., basketball. But there's so many of the gearheads out there that aren't interested in that. So here you get somebody like me that says, look, I want to do this. It's going to be wholesome family entertainment. I'm going to be a generator of income for all the surrounding businesses, and I'm going to keep the streets safer. Let me do my thing. And sure enough, that's where we are now. Now, another naysayer at one point said, well, you're crazy. You're going to have these concrete walls on the sides of the track. That's dangerous. And again, without getting my, I'm an old man, I'll be 78, without getting my Italian temper riled up, I said, sir, this is what it is all about. This is what safety is. I am sanctioned by the National Hot Rod Association, the number one sanctioning drag racing organization in the world. And yes, the barriers are there for the protection of the racers, and it's also for the protection of the spectators. So yes, we will have the barriers, we will have the crowd control fencing, everything that is required as far as the National Hot Rod Association is what we do. Now, going back one more time to the noise, I do have the agreement with the town that all vehicles must have mufflers, which they do have. So we've eliminated the noise issue. As far as the safety issue, we must have, according to the NHRA and the insurance company, we must have the fire rescue people on site. We have the fire engine on site. We have the ambulance on site during all of the events. So safety is number one, and we have all of that covered. And I will tell you that I've been in this business for over 40 years, and it's it is a dangerous business. I mean, anybody that comes that's going to be racing whatever type of vehicle, drag racing, road racing, motocross, et cetera, you have the chance of getting hurt. When you have a promoter that takes all of this very seriously and does everything that he should be doing, I am proud to say over all these years, I've never had a lawsuit where I've had to pay to a participant or a spectator for anything as far as negligence on my part. I have never had that, and I will continue till I stop racing. That is so important. And as long as you follow the protocols, there's a television show, well, actually there's two of them now, called Street Outlaws, and there's another one, JJ the Boss, Memphis Street Outlaws. They've contacted me. I've owned 5 drag strips. They've contacted me at every one of my drag strips. Hey, we want to come. We'll pack your place. Yes, you will. You will. I know you will. But here's the deal. When you guys race, you're embracing street racing. You're racing on a road. It's really not illegal because the police would have to be stupid if they advertised and they don't know this. It's reality TV, and I could respect that. But when you watch that, and you will see a lot of times that one of those cars gets out of control. They go off there is no walls. They go off the side of the road. They hit the grass. They flip over. That's crazy. And so I'm not all about that. My deal is we are sanctioned. We have the crash walls, everything that's involved. And like I said, thank God, over all these years, never had a serious injury. I've never had a lawsuit because of negligence on my part.
You are listening to Tara Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ray Schwetz, and our guests today are Brian Cohen, founder of Strategies of Success, and Pete Scalzo, Racetrack Not Street. Now, Pete, you mentioned some of the benefits also of Racetrack Not Street. You talked a little bit about the income. What are the benefits to the non-racing community here?
Well, I guess the non-racing community would be, let's take the hotels, the gas stations, the convenience stores, the influx of people when they come in. They're spending their money here locally, and the other benefit, which I really like to tout, is the wholesome family entertainment. Ray, when you come to one of our events, you're going to see sometimes, and Brian has seen this, 3 generations of participants that have been racing. You'll see people that will come, and a lady will pull me over and say, I used to go, when I was a little kid, I used to go with my dad to a National Speedway or West Hampton, and boy, I wish he was still alive. He would love to see this returning to Long Island. So, it's entertainment. It's wholesome family entertainment. We pride ourselves in doing a good show. Brian, I will tell you one thing about Brian. My wife, she is tough as nails. She's a girl from the Bronx. She pulled Brian over to the side. I think Brian was the last event we had. She said, Brian, you are getting to be a terrific, terrific announcer. So he has really come around. It's kind of, when you talk about drag racing, it's almost, wait a minute now, you got 2 cars going down the track. What's so exciting about that? Well, now Brian has learned, there's a reaction time. We have a complete electronic timing system. After each run of these events, the racers get their time slips showing them what they did. And what's good also as far as an entertainment factor for the crowd is that when they get their time slip, they come right down back in front of the crowd. So the crowd is really getting into it with them. And the other thing that we have is we have junior dragsters as young as 6 years old that are racing. So
Wow.
there you've got, and so the crowd, the fans really love that. Look, you've got Riverhead Raceway, which is a terrific facility. They've been around forever. The stock car track here local, terrific place. However, it's almost like comparing drag racing to comparing baseball to football. There's a football fan, there's a baseball fan. The one might not be interested in the other. Riverhead Raceway does a great job with the catering to the stock car fans. We do a great job catering to the drag race fans.
Now, Brian, you mentioned when we've talked about this, there's kind of a vocational benefit as well, and I'm sure you've learned a lot. So tell us a little about what you've kind of learned in working with Pete and some of the vocational benefits here.
I've learned a lot.
I can imagine. I'm learning a lot right now.
I really had I knew what drag racing was from a spectator standpoint, but I never went to any of the old tracks like that.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Islip Speedway, Freeport Speedway. I was on the circle track thing. So, yeah, it's like really cool to see. And I would love to just see the racing community continue to grow on Long Island. So that's some of the behind the scenes why I'm interested in the whole thing.
Yeah.
But what I've learned, I mean, I really did. The first time I went down there, Pete was looking for a volunteer. I was like, Pete, I know nothing. I'm good with the mic. I'm fine, comfortable there, but I know nothing about racing. So all you need to do is read off the numbers. All they did was read off the numbers. Had no clue in the world, really, what they meant. So there was another a big drag racing event that took place out in Indianapolis, and they broadcast a lot of it. So what I did is I listened to it. Every time a word came up that I didn't know, I wrote it down, replayed it. I was able to pick up more and more on the language. So I guess that's what Pete's wife had picked up on, along the way. So I get it. I get most of it.
Yeah.
I also was given the opportunity to ride as a passenger. And if you wanted to be a passenger on one of these cars, you can. Got to wear a helmet and, that kind of thing. So I did to get an understanding from the inside out, more from the inside out, as to what's going on there. But it's just, it's so much more. It's not just a matter of, the light goes green and you push down on the gas pedal and go. So much more involved in the whole thing. And it's been great to actually learn about that. You talk about people, parents, and the rest of the junior dragsters, these race car drivers, and they get their racing license. The young is 6 years old. There's one guy
so
down
cool.
there. He's 8. He's like an old man now. But he's learning so much. And that's a whole nother story about what these kids are learning, not just by driving, but by being part of the whole thing. The car preparation, getting lined up properly, taking instructions, hand signals from different people along the way. It's not just pulling up to the starting line, waiting for the light to go, and then go.
Yeah.
We were talking about the variety of people that are out there.
Yep.
There was the first day I get down there, there's this grannies who love racing. It's
Wow.
his T-shirt. So this woman is out there. She's out there frequently. She loves the whole thing. She's been in many of the town hall meetings too. So you've got that age category, the multiple families. You brought up before too about the different generations. There's one group of people, you got 2, 3 generations. The junior dragster, one of the families there. Yeah, the junior dragster, dad races, and then grandpa had raced also. Again, multiple generations. So it's really good. And when weather's nice and everybody's out there, the food trucks, the stands, you're able to go see these cars. They're beautiful, some of the cars. Really pieces of works of art that you see going down the track. So it's just beautiful in that respect. It's a great day out there.
Yeah. It sounds like such an amazing experience. And Pete, I want to talk with you about the gearheads because I'm thinking, there's so much benefit as well because, these are people who are learning problem-solving skills, and it's just kind of so cool. Can you tell us a little about what you like so much about doing this work and about, I imagine you yourself are kind of like a gearhead, right?
Yeah, well, I am. I was always interested in promoting motorsports events, and I did back in the day, as everybody said, because I was born and raised in New York. So I was at National Speedway, West Hampton. I never raced a little at Islip, but you've got, here's the thing. Years ago, people would almost, back in my generation, maybe it's not the right term, but, a mechanic, that's another. I got to tell you something. A mechanic today is very, very intelligent, specialized, field, and you can make a ton of money being a mechanic. So there's a lot of people out there that love cars, and they can have the opportunity to go to school and learn mechanics and either work for a dealership or open up their own business, which, they have the opportunity. Mechanics is huge. It's a huge industry. It's a terrific career. Also, the Long Island lost a whole lot. A good friend of mine, Nick Philippides, who has American Racing Headers, huge company making headers. He wanted to come out here, and he said, well, why would I want to set up out on Long Island when I could go to a place like North Carolina, and there's racetracks all over the place? So there's the opportunity. If we could have a permanent facility, and I repeat myself, this is the most ideal site for a permanent facility. And it does not have to include the whole 10,000-foot runway, the 7,000-foot runway, just a portion of this. And again, it is in the process of being sold, so I don't know what's going to be there in the future. But the point is that for people that like cars, that want to maybe be in the automotive industry, this is a generator, a catalyst to build the interest. And if you have a local racetrack, the surrounding area will benefit tremendously, just absolutely tremendously. Look, we pay the Riverhead Volunteer Ambulance Corps $2,000 a day for them to come out here. We pay Manaville Fire Department $2,000 a day to come out here. So that's $4,000 a day. Every event that we run, that money is kept here in the local community, where these entities can improve their equipment. Oh, I mean, that's a win-win all around. So we have the benefit of we're benefiting the entire community, and again, providing the wholesome family entertainment. And the other cool thing that we do is we have a slogan, and Brian knows it, which is "Run what you brung." So, Ray, with the money you make where you're working, you have that. I don't know if you've got the Bentley convertible or a brand new Corvette, whatever it is, but you can run. And we have, Brian sees it, we have minivans, we have dune buggies, we have pickup trucks, we have old muscle cars, the new Corvettes, Ferraris, anything at all, run what you brung. At this point, we do not allow motorcycles because, in my opinion, they are a little bit too noisy. But otherwise, you run what you brung, you bring it out, and you pay your entry fee, and you run all day long, as many runs as you can get. And Brian can be talking about how cool you are and how fast you are, and you get your time slip after every run. So it's a fun thing, and it is something that is totally different, and it's great, wholesome family entertainment.
Definitely a win-win. You are listening to Tower Talk Business Radio on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm Ray Schwetz, and our guests today are Brian Cohen, founder of Strategies of Success, and Pete Scalzo, Racetrack Not Street.
Yeah. And on that note of the Run What You Brung, there's a lot of folks that show up for the very first time that have bought a car or have been working on a car. One guy actually found out that this was all in the making. He built a car specifically for the events that are taking place at Racetrack Not Street. It's interesting to see folks coming out and trying something different for the very first time, getting used to the lighting system, the Race America light system, and everything that takes place over there. And you could do it. And there's no... Like, I mean, the car he was talking about, that van that went down there, the faster cars were like 10 seconds or something like that to get down at 1/8 of a mile. This car took 14 seconds. So he was much slower. I don't even know if he broke the regular speed limit, on that one. But smiles all around. I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. Go and do something different. The circle tracks, it's different. That's race cars,
right,
all around. This one can just be a regular street car. And it's everything, it is that run what you brung thing. There are safety features that go along with it that have to be met, all the rest of that. You need to wear a helmet, etc. But it's open to everybody. You too can. I want to see you show up at that Bentley.
Me too. That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, it'd be fun to say.
Ray, I'm going to ask you a question. I know you don't have the answer, but you'll find it interesting. Do you know what the fastest car we had last year was?
The fastest car you had last year? No, I couldn't even guess.
Believe it or not, a Tesla.
Right.
A Tesla? Wow.
Yeah.
Tesla Plaid, yep. It was a lady driving it, and she went right at our limit. We do have a mile per hour limit, which is 125 miles an hour, which is fast in 660 feet. And yes, so she had the record as the fastest vehicle. It was a Tesla Plaid.
And to tie that in with the vocational aspect, she happens to be a guidance counselor at one of our high schools, and she and many of her students came to one of the business trade shows because there's a definite tie-in in the whole thing. Oceanside High School is another one. Their STEM program, not automotive program, their STEM program built a rat rod or built a car, from the ground up. So I think this is going to be a great catalyst for the vocational programs inside of high schools and colleges, whether it be automotive, STEM, it could be audio-visual too.
Right.
I'm happy to share the microphone, and that one goes. And there's food service, hospitality. There's a bunch of different opportunities that are here from the long-term standpoint.
Now, Pete, where can we find, as we're bringing things to a close, where can we find information and where can we get tickets and that sort of thing?
It's racetracknotstreet.com. Go online. You'll be able to see everything, our schedule, what all is involved. If you want to be a participant, you can buy the tickets at any of our events at the door. And, again, you'll be able to see the full schedule, racetracknotstreet.com.
Excellent. And, Brian, where can we find information about you if we want to talk about strategies of success?
But the easiest website to go to would be Brian, BRIAN, SOS, Strategy of Success.
Excellent. All right, well, gentlemen, thank you both for joining me today. It's been an amazing show. Can't wait to see Racetrack Not Street, and excited about the future for the racetrack and everything. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
All right.
Thank you, Brian.
My pleasure. And I want to close with DB's philosophy. So the miracle isn't that I finished. The miracle is that I had the courage to start. John Bingham. We want to thank you for being with us. My name is Ray Schwetz, along with Denise and Boston Hill, your co-host and producers. This is an NCC Foundation production. Visit nccradio.org for more information. We're available on Odyssey, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, as a podcast on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. Also, remember, you can ask Alexa to please play WHPC. This has been Tower Talk Business Radio, powered by the Nassau Community College Foundation on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.